Traders, welcome to 8th. Great to see all of us back rejoining us inside our live trading room and perhaps all of us back on social media, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, the works. Let me just get a quick sound check across the board for Chuck, Leda, Grant, and all of our students alike inside our live trading room. Let me know if you could hear me loud and clear, but we actually have a lot to go through here heading into this class that we have later on this afternoon today at 3:05 Eastern. So great to see Kevin with us here, Donald just with us now, and Barbara, and I saw from before Ryan and Grant Leda just a moment ago as well. So great to see all of them. Great to have all of us back, though, otherwise, like I'd said. So, hey, GNS, we're going to start with this on the screen to begin. This day hasn't been a total flop, folks. Markets have dropped off a little bit more now at this point. So you'd figure, well, it's not really a great market to long, right? And generally speaking, you are correct. But hey, that doesn't mean that there can't be something that goes against the grain. I know that back on Thursday last week, I was saying like it was one of the most brutal days of the year because, well, hey, the market dropped and there was absolutely nothing that went against the grain. So myself and Rich, and Fausto when he's here as well, but us and our students, of course, if you're here, well, we're always scanning. We're always looking for that next opportunity. Doesn't mean we're gunslingers out there. Doesn't mean we're just going to jump into something, but here on GNS popped up after the market opened. And, when we kind of finished up going into the morning class that we had today, Rich was likely calling it out, just kind of saying inching back up, trying to make a move back up. I called it out heading into the early afternoon once. And, thankfully, the stock ended up making a nice little break, ended up pushing off the highs there off of 215, now trying to make a re-break above big resistance at 230. So, 230 definitely is the big level to work off of here heading into this afternoon. We had a huge iceberg order there just a moment ago. It got broken through pretty quick, but I said it would be impressive if it ran off of it. Doesn't mean, break over. It doesn't mean it's going to run right away. So this actually takes us into good timing of the day right now. We're heading into class, the phase 2 course later on this afternoon. We'll try and follow up with this trade live. So GNS, I'm going to put this on our watch list. Be transparent with you, sooner is better than later. So if this pops during this meeting and I'm not like in it for class, it wouldn't really shock me. But if it fails to make that run sooner than later, and look what just happened as I'm talking, a new iceberg order popping up on the ask, 233, I think, for about 46, 47,000. Well, this was the much larger level to work off of. It was as many as like 204, maybe even more, like 211,000 shares on the offer. Well, if this pops up right above it, that's not really a good sign. So, I'm going to keep this on our list. Hope this ends up at least holding here. We'll see if that order gets pulled or if it ends up blasting higher later on, perhaps. But yeah, nice little trade just before on GNS. Nice little trade here, although I was looking for the move the other way. I took a small loss just on this a moment ago, in from 1357 out at 1364. I was playing it off the VWAP, looking to see this break lower. And, well, actually a good example I'll show in a moment with Mara, M-A-R-A, but when a stock holds your level, doesn't mean that you're making money. In fact, you're usually not. So in this case, it was holding under resistance really nicely. I was looking for the short. That doesn't make us money. It's the big drop off after that you got to see. If it's not going to make that big move on the way down and continue as a short, it's pretty surprising. It ended up making a nice move back up. Perhaps not too surprising because it is up a lot percentage-wise today. But, we were talking about this in class earlier. It ended up building up pretty nicely from this point. So my thought process was, well, the stock still has a lot of bearish sentiment on it. So eventually this is going to make a better squeeze upward, and perhaps it is now this afternoon. But my mind was still thinking a short and a drop off if the markets were to break lower. Well, you can't always get what you want, right? So ended up making a nice squeeze back up. I took a small licking, and yeah, we'll see if this makes the test of 14 soon enough here for the HE Hawaiian Electrics. All right, so we got the stock up 701%. This has to be some sort of buyout or reverse stock split, or I guess new IPO. Yeah, new IPO. All right, well, I'm not going to trade it. No volume to it here on the order book. We'll pass on it for now. We got the GNS. We got the HE. Let me just kind of peel my price column here a bit. Makes it easier. And now we go. So we'll kind of just see what we can get heading into this afternoon, folks. Now, typically in free game right now for all of us, especially those of us not a student or inside our live trading room, free game for the day is that normally these watch lists for the afternoon, you want to follow a stock at or near the highs or at or near the lows. So, for right now, GNS, HE, both great on the way up. BGLC not looking terrible on the way up, but not really trading a whole lot of volume per minute here. Kind of skimpy order book for a dollar stock. It's like more of a risk. See if there's anything else looking good going up here on the way up. GoEv, this is actually an EV company. We're not going to put this on our watch list as good as it looks. Typically, we stay above a dollar, right? Unless if it's like literally at one or on the way to one. It's a nice looking chart. Don't get me wrong, and we actually are pretty familiar with the ticker, but Donald calling out EOS, EOSE, one that we also are pretty familiar with. So I like that already. I'll take a look at it in just a moment. Carvana had a nice pop from earlier. I guess it's kind of holding here. I'm going to write this down for the side list. Come back to it if I need to. Rigetti, the stock took a huge hit, like with all the quantum stocks back like a couple weeks ago. Just kind of skimming through here, see what we can grab. The TME trade from before, but it's gotten so flat now at this point. Granted, it's still kind of near the highs, but it's like watching the grass grow here. So I'm going to pass on it for now. I'm going to put it on our side list here, perhaps. But let's see if there's anything looking good from the loser side. I'll take a look at all the side list stocks at the end. IDAI taking a huge hit right now, not shortable. And VCR, not really doing a whole lot there. There's definitely going to be a bunch on the loser side, or moving with the market, at a minimum. Man, a lot of stuff hard to borrow. Skip over those here pretty briefly. Upwork, a $13, $14 stock, down big, but not really near the lows. All right, well, I'll tell you, let's jump to that EOS trade because I didn't really see too much else out there on the losers list. And there's definitely some stocks down, maybe not like, that 5% or more. But let's take a look at EOS here. I guess it's trying to bounce a little bit there, Donald. It's 100% tradable, like good spread, good volume, but, not really near the highs just yet. It's on a nice trend. I'll tell you what, this GNS just busted above this 233. So, it's got to bust a move here pretty soon, make a sharper run sooner than later. Still not out of the doghouse yet, but we got two stocks on our list, and one is trying to break higher right now. So let's see if there's anything else looking good here that we may have overlooked. Geez, that we're at the bottom of the barrel, and Benzinga Pro is giving me stocks like that. Beep, or the BGLC trade again, kind of jumping back to that. FRO's on the way down, I see from Benzinga. TGTX, I guess, is at the lows, but nothing really too noteworthy, huh? We got the HE, we got the GNS. That's all we need, I feel, right? I don't want to just have us off on a two-stock watch list, mind you, but that's where I'll jump back to that flat TME. That's where I'll jump back to the at least Carvana, a little more expensive, but holding here for what it's worth. I'll slip Carvana on our main list. That makes 3 right there. We'll jump to my book map. I'll show you a little of that before we wrap up. So yeah, here's your iceberg at 230. New order popped up at 233, which I was warning us it could lead to a bit of a shakedown. Thankfully, ended up winning the battle, the bulls, and thankfully ended up leading to a nice little pop here. Next major resistance is not until 250. Then after that, seems to be 3. The Mara trade, just another good example of, hey, broke over a nice little level in the morning here or in the early afternoon here. And I thought there was a chance where we could see this squeeze up a little bit with Bitcoin, but laying over support doesn't make us money, right? So I was chatting one of our students, Xavier, on that, just simply like, hey, it's got to bust a move here pretty soon. Otherwise, what you see is what you get, right? Know thy consequences of holding on to a trade, because if I held on to this short, I would have been down bad right now. I would not be walking into class a happy camper. All right, so I'll tell you what, folks. I think that we got all of them for right now. John here at the end saying ACHR, then Donald asking what happened to GDC. So we'll jump to those two. So ACHR, I overlooked it. Not terrible. Not terrible at all, John. Actually, pretty good, might I say. Trading about 23,000 shares per minute. That I like. Hopefully that continues. But yeah, good one for right now. Now, if it dumps off, I'm blaming John. No, I'm teasing. I'm teasing though. I'm teasing at that. Now, for right now, it's a great trade. Let me jump back, actually, John, because it goes to show like Nikola looked like crap earlier this morning, but going into the 8 o'clock move, it was up like 4+%. It was inching back up here a little bit. So from this perspective, how could we not follow that at that point in the morning? But if it ends up going the other way, well, we know to at least move on from that point. So for right now, good call. I'm going to put that on our main list. And then what happened at GDC? Well, everything that we expected to happen at GDC happened at GDC here. What goes up comes back down, but for a stock on such a low float, granted, we saw profit taking at the open, which is very natural and expected, but it's also expected to say if it's not going to continue to build support, try and make another run again at least, it's going to keep dropping. So, when was the last time GDC traded 42 plus million shares in one day? This stock day to day trades like 8,000 shares a day, 16,000 shares in one full trading session. That's nothing, right? We trade 16,000 shares cumulatively in one trading day. Or, a lot of us do. Even if you don't, you might trade 8,000. That's 8 different 1,000 share trades I'm talking about. Well, that's more volume than, or as much volume as this stock trades in one day itself. So that's where, for as much as it's trading in pre-market, if it's not going to continue to build support, it's more prone to see this happen. We always say if it's not going to make that big move that you're looking for, you got to keep your stops tight because you don't want to get stuck in something like this, hoping and holding, and then like earlier, there's a chance it's moving back up, and then right the other way. All right, last couple here, AMLI, not terrible. It's up like 10%. Little recovery room, I reckon. Looks like it dropped off from 2 down to like nearly 1. I just feel like there's better trades than this at this point. I like that ECHR. That was a good one. And Carvana, I added those two. All right, so we're going to wrap up for right now, folks. Hey, for all of our gold, platinum, diamond, C2 students, nice trade from Ryan right there on the HE. You got about like nearly 50 cents a pop on this. But for all of our gold, platinum, and diamond C2 students, I look forward to seeing you in class. It is as phase 3 as it gets outside of me actually doing phase 3 when Fausto needs me to. So, I'm going to be looking to take some trades or at least follow some trades with you folks going into the close live. And, we'll see what we can get. Start and stick with this list. As always, folks, private chat me at least if you have any questions over the next day or so, or if you have any questions, feel free to email me, josh@ctutrading.com. Of course, that goes across the board for all of us on social media right now, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, the works. Otherwise, though, feel free to scan that QR code on the top left of the stream, get you access to a live trading room, a week-long membership to our live trading room, get you live workshops, Traders Talk, our weekly workshop that we're doing tomorrow, get you access to all of our instructors and students and just the camaraderie all together that's there. We look forward to seeing you. But hey, for all my students, I'll catch you in class.